Once again, good evening, everyone. I would invite Deepali Madam to start the session.
Good evening, all. Good evening, all dear biologists. I'm Deepali and I'm taking your geology. So, are you all ready to enjoy this journey? Am I visible and audible to all?
Yes, ma'am, you are visible.
Okay, fine. So we are starting the structure organization of animals. Okay? What we are starting? We are starting structure organization of animals. I am going to teach on whiteboard and then I will revise this whole lecture by a PPT also. I just want all students to focus and please write down in your notebook whatever I am writing because it will help in memorizing the things. Okay? Complex organisms are having organ system like us, and then after combining all this, an organism is formed. So this is the last, and this is the first. This is the hierarchy of structural organization. Organize. Great. Fine. And we do, and we do this, then organism, and then organism. How many types of people? How many types of people? Organ. What you need to understand the multicellularity, germ layer, how our cells are formed, understanding this is all. Okay, this is not taken up in classification was in college. They did very important.
Ma'am, we can't hear you.
Okay. Am I audible now? Am I audible?
Your voice is struggling, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, let's listen again. Classification of animals. Living organisms are divided into two types, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Then further divided into unicellular. So unicellular organisms. So here comes prokaryote, unicellular, and then monera is the kingdom, including prokaryote. Now come to eukaryote. Multicellular. Prokaryote can be two types, unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular, for example, Orchestra. Multicellular example, tree. Fungi, plantae, and what living prokaryote. Unicellular, now prokaryotic. Again, two types, unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular Orchestra, multicellular fungi, plantae kingdom, and animalia kingdom. Okay, so fungi and plantae you will be teaching in, you will be studying in botany. So here, what comes in the biology is animal. So this in this living organism, first thing is animal. Animalia kingdom. Animal.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt, but your voice is heard when you are close to the device. But when you are far away from the device towards the board, your voice is not heard clearly.
I'm not audible.
Not audible clearly when you are away from the device.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll manage it. Animalia. Now I'm audible. Animal.
Please speak, ma'am. Sorry.
Animalia. Non Animalia divided into non-chordates and
Chordate.
okay, clear? Non-chordates are having 9 phylum, and chordates are having 5 phylum. This is the brief classification of all living organisms. We will be discussing this in detail. 9 phylum we will be discussing in detail. 5 phylum we will be studying in detail. Everything about non-chordates and chordates will come into another chapter. Here only I want to discuss is classification of animals, how animals are classified. Okay. Now let's start the main topic of the chapter. This was just the outline of the chapter. How animals are classified is very important before we start about the multicellularity, about the symmetry, about the germ layers. So this is the now now comes to the structural organization. Now grains of organization and body plan. Animals show different shapes, different structures. They possess either cellular structure, cellular grade of organization, either they possess tissue level of organization, organ level of organ system level of, or completely developed organism like us. Okay. So this is the cellular, if cellular grade of, if we are talking about the cellular grade of organization, then there is only one cell that is managing the whole biological functions of that organism. Can anyone give me the example of any two unicellular organism?
Amoeba and paramecium, ma'am.
Oh, very good. Very good. Cellular grade of Organization. Cellular grade of organization. As one girl said, amoeba. And any common name of which paramecium is known? Common name of paramecium? Is there anyone in the class? No. Okay.
Slippery animalcule, ma'am.
Okay. If you have done the book, then it's not right. If you know, then it's very right. Why? No answer? Because they appear like sleeper. Amoeba is like this. And paramecium is like this. It
Amoeba
is like
does
a sleeper-like structure and
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
a amoeba-like structure. This is amoeba and this is paramecium. This is okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah,
Tell
sorry to
me.
interrupt, ma'am. Could you please do it on laptop? Yeah, could you please do it on laptop? Board is also not clear.
Okay, fine, sir. I'm joining from laptop. Okay.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
So give me some time. I'm joining via laptop. Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, students. Ifra, Umar, Rosia, why didn't you join for today's morning class?
Ma'am, my mama did not wake up me.
You didn't even receive the call today. Yes, Umar, what about you?
Ma'am.
I also didn't
Ma'am,
wake
I
up.
was having
Okay, one after the other. Umar?
Today I didn't wake up, madam.
But you have to wake up, right?
Yes, madam. I
But
forgot
from tomorrow,
to put the alarm.
okay. But from tomorrow, please don't miss the classes.
Okay, madam.
You have to be serious about this because morning, as I have said, morning you have two subjects, physics and chemistry,
Yes, madam.
right? Utti biology చదివినా అవ్వదు, only physics chemistry చదివినా కూడా అవ్వదు. You have to manage all the three classes.
Yes,
Then
madam.
only you can get a good marks and you can reach the goal which you have already designed. Okay,
Yes, madam.
I think madam is back, so we can continue the session. Yes, ma'am. Deepashri ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
you can continue the session, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my screen is visible, everyone.
Yes, madam.
So yesterday we did till the euglenoids, and today we will be doing with the slime molds. And let's start with the slime molds. Do anyone have any idea what is a slime mold? So today we will be doing completing this part. Okay. Not a lot is left. So slime molds are actually consumer decomposer protist. Means they are the sole decomposers. They just take away the nutrients from the living organisms. Okay. And that is the reason asexual reproduction, they perform asexual reproduction through binary fission, plasmatomoi, spore cyst, and the sclerotonium. So each and every organism of the protist has different types of the asexual reproduction. So for reading protist, what you have to remember, what type of cell wall they have, what are they, I mean to say consumer, decomposer or whatever, and what type of the reproduction they do, like asexual reproduction, how they do, sexual reproduction, how they do. So these are the basic features you need to know for each and every category for the protist. So binary fission, plasmatomy, spore, cyst, sclerotorium. Sexual reproduction is isogamous or anisogamous, and both zygotic meiosis, cellular slime molds, and the gametic meiosis, which are the acellular slime molds, occurs in the slime mold kingdom. So actually zygotic meiosis means when the organism is reaching the zygotic state. Then if the meiosis is occurring, that is the cellular slime mold. Acellular slime mold means gametic meiosis, like in the gamete condition if the meiosis is occurring. Okay. So slime molds have characteristics of the plants and fungi. Plants, why? Plants means cellulosic cell wall. Animals, why? Phagotropic nutrition. Fungi, why? Spores. And thus they take part in the decomposition of the organic matter and the feeding of other decomposer organisms. So slime molds have features like animal, which are like animal-like, like in their vegetative state, and in the plant-like, which are in the reproductive stages. So they are the organisms which act like plants, animals, fungi also. And they are part in both the decomposition of organic matter and feeding of the other decomposer organisms. Okay. Then slime molds. Then actually the slime molds are what? They are found in each and every place. Like yesterday, if you remember the class, that they are present and growing in a wide range of the regions, like damps, shady places, and everything. So slime molds are specially found in the damps and shady places, and they may be found in soil which is rich in humus, damp old planks of the wood, rotting logs, decaying leaves, etc. And they prefer moisture and darkness or dim light for normal growth. And they move to the drier and the exposed habitats during their reproductive phases. Okay, so what are this happening? So slime molds are actually distributed and growing where? In the shady, damp areas, and that is the reason they can produce. Imagine that if they are growing in the shampy areas or the shady areas, dampy areas, means what? Like someone which is decaying, so they will be growing there. So not all of the things you have to remember. So obviously, if you just remember this part that they are growing in the shady places, then you will obviously remember that they will be rich in humus, old planks, woods, rotting legs, decaying leaves, etc. And thus they prefer moisture and darkness or dim light for the normal growth, and they move to the drier and exposed habitats during the reproductive phases. Okay. There are more than 100 species and they have thallus. Okay, remember thallus is for slime molds only. Thallus can't be found anywhere. So thallus is present only in the slime mold. So that is a free living, naked, multinucleated mass of protoplasm, which is the plasmodium. And plasmodium has the diploid nuclei, has no cell wall, and secretes lime-like structure. So since the secret lime-like structure, it creates a slippery environment. And that is the reason they produce and they move like with the help of the pseudopodia. So do you know what is the pseudopodia? Pseudopodia are actually the structures which have been extending out from an amoeba. So they use it for getting their own food. So slime molds, they have been producing slime and they just excrete in the pseudopodia and helps in their movement. Chlorophyll is absent. Remember this important, chlorophyll is absent and generally they are saprophytic, parasitic. We already know they are decomposer and they are actually parasitic like organisms. And what happens? They reproduce by means of spores produced in the sporangia, and spores have cellulosic cell wall and are produced through meiosis. And slime molds are generally holocarpic. Can anyone tell me what is holocarpic? What does this holocarpic mean? Does anyone know what is holocarpic? Holocarpic means an organism that reproduces only once in a lifetime. And if an organism is producing a lot, like humans produce a lot number of times, right? They can produce. But imagine a frog. They reproduce once in a lifetime. Since we humans produce once, twice, or thrice in a lifetime, we don't give birth to huge number of the individuals at a time, right? Exceptions are there. You can tell me, ma'am, I know a person who has given birth to triplets or quadruplets. That is different. But normal cases, we usually give birth to one living organism. And we can produce multiple times. But imagine a tortoise or a frog. How many organisms they give birth to? Thousands, right? Because they can give birth only once in a lifetime. And thus they produce maximum number of the organisms. So holocarpic means organism that produce once in a lifetime. And thus pours all its energy into producing a single batch of the organism and then dies, like frogs. Okay, so slime molds are holocarpic. They will produce once in a lifetime and will produce thousands of the organism. And then that parent organism will die. algae, fungi, frogs. These are actually holocarpic is the term used for plants, plant kingdoms, and polycarpic means organisms that produce multiple times. Is this part clear? What is a holocarpic? What is a polycarpic?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So spores germinate to produce myxamoeba or biflagellated swarm cells behaving as the gametes. So that's what I have been saying, that they produce a lot of gametes, and these gametes, obviously all the gametes will not survive. Very few will be surviving. If a tortoise is giving birth to like thousands of the organisms, do thousands of these tortoise survive? No, because that parental care is absent. It is not possible for a parent to look after thousands of organisms. Is it possible for a parent to look after thousands of its daughters or sons? No, it is not. Similarly, it happens to them. They just give birth, and the young ones, they just try to survive. Whoever survives, survives, and whoever survives, who can't survive, they just die. Okay. The swarm cells fuse in pairs, showing isogamous type of sexual reproduction. Isogamy is a type of sexual reproduction. And slime molds are usually colorless or maybe variously colored, like orange, yellow, brown, etc. So they are of two types, acellular and cellular. So can't anyone tell me what is acellular and what is cellular?
Organisms in which cells are absent is acellular, madam.
Yeah, so can you give me an example of an acellular organism except slime mold? There are many organisms.
Sorry, ma'am, no idea.
Virus. Does virus have a cell? Virus is a
Ma'am,
non-living
protozoa.
protozoa. Only slime mold is acellular.
Yes.
Remember,
It is a
virus
part.
is a dead organism outside the living body. So that part is acellular. But when the virus infects, it becomes living. Okay. Prion. Does anyone have any idea what is prion? Viroid, virusoid? Prion means a protein that is infectious. Protein does not have cells. Do proteins have cells? No. Proteins have amino acids. Like many amino acids together makes protein, right? So when the protein becomes infectious, that is a prion. So that is present in the slime mold. So that is present in many organisms. That is acellular. Okay. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just note this down. Extra learnings. Acellular slime molds have wall-less multinucleate protoplasm or plasmodium. Without protoplasmodium or with a number of branched veins showing cyclosis. This entire phenomena happens in plasmodium, which is called the phaneroplasmodium. So that is an acellular slime mold. Okay, multiplication occurs by plasmotomy. Plasmotomy is another type of sexual reproduction. When the food is about to be exhausted, plasmodium comes to rest and develops the sporangium. Okay. Each sporangium, so what happens is actually food is absent. So plasmodium has nothing to eat. So it just develops a sporangium. Easy life, nothing to eat, sleep. If there is nothing to eat, just form a sporangium and go to sleep. Sporangium has a non-cellulosic covering, which is the capsulum, and this is the fuligophyceram. These are the slime molds who has this kind of lifestyle. Cellulose slimes are initially in the form of haploid uninucleate wall-less mixamoeba, which are surrounded by mucilage, move about by pseudopodia, and feed on bacteria and other organisms through ingestion. So these are cellulosic structures. So there is something, and so they just feed on this organism, feed on the bacteria and other microorganisms through ingestion. And that is a most cellulosic type of, not cellulosic, cellular type of the behavior as like any organisms can show. Okay. Mixed amoeba multiply by binary fission. Sexual reproduction is by macrocyst formation, like dictyostelium, spondylium. Okay, so these are the common examples. Reserve food is glycogen. Cyst occurs during, cyst means only unfavorable condition. Okay, cyst means unfavorable condition. Sexual reproduction by fission or budding, sexual reproduction by conjugation or syngamy, and so on. Major groups of the protozoans based on the locomotion, like how they move. Zooflagellate, flagellated protozoa. Sarcodina is the amoeboidal protozoa. Ciliated is the ciliated protozoa and the sporozoa. Okay, so these are the different locomotory organs that actually helps the protozoa to move. So rest of the parts we will be doing in the next class. So till part protozoa is everything clear. I guess the concepts are clear to everyone, but only problem is the memorizing part, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. So for that you have to just read it. See that every information I have been including in this slide, but I can't make you memorize this. So if you can start making the menu mix, like if you are forgetting anything, so you can just make your own menu mix for a particular group of the organism. So does anyone has anything to ask about the protozoa?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so nothing. If so instead so after completing the protozoa, so
Ma'am, can you give some examples of these 4 protozoans, please?
examples of protozoa, you are learning so many examples. See,
Not like that, ma'am. For example,
something you
just now
see
you
in
said
your regular
ciliated
life, that is the plasmodium that causes malaria, entamoeba histolytica. These are the names you have heard, right, till class 10th. Entamoeba histolytica causing a disease. Then there are protozoans like plasmodium. Plasmodium causes malaria. Everyone has heard the term malaria. Malaria is very common.
Ma'am, I'm asking that separate examples for just now you said flagellated protozoans, ciliated protozoans, separate
Oh,
examples for them.
flagellated protozoa, like the zooflagellate protozoa, Sarcodina protozoa, we will be learning all this. Okay, so okay, wait. So zooflagellated protozoa means there are actually no common types of the example, like, but have you heard of the term Giardia? Trypanosome, Giardia, trypanosome. Maybe you have
Yes,
heard.
ma'am.
Yeah, so those are actually the zooflagellate type. Okay.
Trypanosoma and Gambian.
Yeah, Entamoeba histolytica is the Sarcodina. Okay, then for your ciliated protozoa, there are many different types of the examples like Paramecium. Paramecium, you have heard the term Paramecium vorticella.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are the common examples, the names you have already heard. So these are the some of the common example, and sporozoa is our plasmodium that causes malaria. Cyclospora, sporozoa. I can't remember any other names for sporozoa, but plasmodium, cyclospora. Cyclospora actually causes diarrhea type of disease. Not exactly a diarrheal disease, but type of the diarrheal disease. So these are the things. Actually, diarrhea is caused by what? Vibrio cholerae. We have heard this term, but sometimes very rare cases, cyclospora also cause. Very rare cases. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So any else you need to ask me? So just try to remember after the end of the week, try to remember and go through these chapters. Okay. More you go through these chapters, more you start seeing these chapters, more you will be like marking this. I'm not telling you to memorize this, but if you see something regularly, many of the stuffs will be going inside your head, and these are the things you will be seeing for the next 2 years, this year and the next year. So hopefully you will be able to like remember a lot of things. And remember the stuffs which are most difficult to you before the exam. If you are putting most effort in these chapters, this becomes the easiest chapter. Once you have to remember, once in a lifetime. Okay. And after the chapters, as I promised that I will be giving you a short note. That short note you can't forget. Anything, any line. Here many examples are there, I know. Maybe you can get some things out of your mind, but from that you can't forget everything of anything. Okay, so and what's
Ma'am,
the
still we did not receive the previous short notes, previous lesson.
I sent sir yesterday, so you please remind sir once.
Okay.
I gave him yesterday. I gave all the things yesterday. Okay. Okay, then
Okay, ma'am.
something to ask. So, Deepali ma'am is present.
I am present.
Okay. So, ma'am, that is from my part. So, you please continue.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I am visible to everyone.
Yes, madam.
I am visible and audible to everyone. My voice is clear. My voice is
Yes, ma'am. It is clear. It is
Yes, it's
clear.
clear, ma'am.
okay. Okay, fine. Then, then, then continue. Let's continue. So this is the grades of organization. What is clear? Grades of organization and body plan. What I've been teaching you in the three organization examples are amoeba and paramecium. Paramecium, do you know interesting facts about the amoeba? How amoeba performs life functions? Amoeba is having pseudopodiums. These are pseudopodiums. Pseudopodia. Pseudo means false. Podia means leg. False legs. What these legs do? Entire amoeba is so with the help of protoplasm streaming, pseudopodia. Amoeba walks through pseudopodia like this. Extend the pseudopodia, change the position. Whenever amoeba see a amoeba will approach the food item like this. Extend the pseudopodia, he will reach towards it. Then pseudopodia ingestion of food item. Like this, amoeba ingest the food item. This is how they digest the food. Ingest having some hydrolytic enzyme via they ingest the food particle. And with the help of pseudopodia, they perform the locomotion. Have you ever seen pseudopodia in your home? Oh, amoeba in your home? Sorry.
Madam,
If
your
you
video
left the
is not
bread.
clear.
Video is not
Video-
clear or voice is not clear?
Video is not clear, ma'am.
Okay,
It is blur.
Okay, fine. Then let's study via PPT. If it is not visible, let's study with the help of PPT. Okay? Is this visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Then start with this. Now I am clear, visible,
Yes, ma'am.
audio is visible.
Yeah.
Oh, audio is audible, sorry. Okay, then this we have done living organisms. Two types of living organisms, prokaryotes, eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are only unicellular. Monera is
Madam,
the
you can
kingdom.
put it in the slideshow.
I have already put it in the slideshow.
No, ma'am.
It is in the under the slideshow, ma'am.
Okay.
It is under. Okay. So living organisms. These are prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are only unicellular organisms. And what you will be studying in prokaryotes, Monera kingdom. And then eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are unicellular or multi. Eukaryotes are fungi, plantae, and animalia. Fungi, we will be studying in animalia. So animalia are again two types. Why we, how we are classifying them, chordates, non-chordates, because vertebra. We are having a completely developed notochord, that is vertebra. Some animals are lacking in notochord, so they are classified as non-chordates. And some animals are having notochord, so they are classified under chordates. Non-chordates are again having 9 phylums and chordates are having 5 phylums. So this is the brief classification of living organisms. How living organisms are having structural organization we will be studying. Okay, so let's start. Grades of organization and body plan. Okay, animals show different shapes and sizes, but possesses either cellular grade of organization, either tissue or either organ system kind of organization. So cellular grade of organization is done only in unicellular or acellular organisms. Acellular organisms are those organisms that lack cell. Okay, like viruses. Viruses are connecting link between living and non-living thing. They are considered living only when they acquire a host, and non-living when they are not having any living host. Okay, so acellular organisms, fungi, you will be studying.
Madam, your screen is not moving.
My screen is not
Moving.
It is in third slide, right? But we have been showing second slide.
okay. Let me see. Now
First one it came.
now it is visible.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
need
Now
to-
it is in the first slide.
Second slide visible.
No. Madam, please click on slideshow.
Third slide. I am
No,
under
ma'am.
slideshow.
You have an option slideshow, madam. Click on that. Yes, besides animations.
I
Beside
know it,
animations. What is question? Can you repeat once again, sir?
Ma'am, there is a blue tab, right? Home, insert, design, animation, and then slideshow.
I think
Above,
madam is adding effect.
I'm doing that. I have done slideshow from
Above that, ma'am.
Not that, ma'am. Besides animation, now we have clicked on animations, no, ma'am.
no, I clicked on animation. Now visible?
Yes, ma'am, but you
Above
have
this,
to
ma'am.
click
Above
on
that.
slideshow.
Above that. No, ma'am. Above that.
Slides are visible?
Ma'am, slides are visible, but you have to put it in a slideshow such that whole slide will be screen with the whole screen. Besides animation, you have an option slideshow. Madam, besides animations, you have a
No, and
slideshow.
I know.
can you press F5 button?
Now it is visible? Now it is visible?
No, madam, from beginning. You please click on from beginning, madam. It is not on slideshow, madam. Yes.
Yes, it is visible?
Yes, but it is not on slideshow, madam. Can you click again?
Yes, I clicked again.
Once more.
Not.
Once you stop sharing and start again, ma'am. Madam, once
Okay.
you stop sharing, yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Now you start sharing, ma'am. Share the whole screen where you got another tab of slideshow.
Now it is visible?
Can you please double click on from beginning?
Ellipse remain as ellipse, or will ellipse transform into something?
It will be straight line.
Yes. Yeah, this goes here.
It is not on slideshow, madam.
It is
Another point of this axis.
on slideshow because I have pressed F5 and slide.
Okay, madam, you can
Starting
continue
from the
for
beginning also.
Yes. Okay, madam, you can continue for today, madam.
Now it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Screen is visible.
Screen
Yes.
visible.
Yes, ma'am. Screen is visible.
Now you can see the slide unicellular organisms. Okay.
No,
but I am not
it
on
is-
slideshow.
It is on second page, ma'am. Your PPT is still on second page.
Then it's not working, and I don't know how it is not working. Okay, let's don't put it
Sorry, ma'am. Your audio is
on
not.
slideshow.
You're not audible.
Is this visible?
Yes, ma'am. It is
This
visible,
slide is
but
visible or not?
you're on a
My-
second slide, ma'am.
You are on this classification of living organisms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can see this slide or not?
The next slide. We are able to see classification of living
Traits
organisms.
of organ and body level of organ.
No.
Okay,
No.
okay, then it's not working.
Madam, you can just come out of slideshow.
Oh,
You can just go to
okay.
home.
Fine, let me
Yes.
see. Now it is visible.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Now
Yes, ma'am.
let's continue like this only. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. For
Is this
today
slide
you can
visible to
continue.
you? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. I'll make out the thing from this. Okay. Unicellular organism like sleeper animalcule and euglenia is a connecting link between plant and animalia. Why photosynthesis? Now metazoans. Next, higher metazoans. Based on complexity of organisms, metazoans are further divided into two, parazoa and eumetazoa. So what are parazoas? Parazoas are cells are loosely aggregated. Their cells are not compact arrangement is not there. Loosely aggregated cells and do not form tissue or organ grade of organization. Example, sponges, phylum Porifera. Okay, what is metazoa? Cells are organized into tissue. Body plan either sac-like like Nidarians. What are Nidarians? Hydra, corals, all these are Nidarians. Like Hydra or tube-like in rest of the eumetals. Okay. This is parazoa. Example of sponge. Sponge is only cellular grade of organization. You can see this ostium. These are pores. The nutrition, the digestion, the excretion, the respiration, everything through water comes out from ostiolum. And when water comes inside, it takes the nutrition or food items and excrete from ostiolum. So this is the cellular grade example. So this comes under parazoa. Okay, sponge. Now come to symmetry. What is symmetry? The parazoans animals lack any definite symmetry. Means they are asymmetrical, like two mirror images. Cutting from anywhere, you cannot divide the sponge into exact or asymmetrical organisms. Okay, like see, amoeba, no definite symmetry. If you are dividing from here, no perfect division. If you are those, we cannot divide perfectly into two equal halves. From cutting from anywhere, they are asymmetrical organism, means having blind sac like cavity. This is a hydra and porifera. Porifera and Nidarian phylum is aquatic. See, they are not floating. They are stuck to the bottom. Now again comes to the symmetry. Symmetry, eumetazoans can be grouped into two categories based on bilateria. What is bilateria and see, this is a circle. As from name, radius in 10th class. This is radius. Okay. So animals passing through the center, if cut from a plane that is passing through the center, this is called radial symmetry. Okay. This is radial, studying about the radial, then we will go for bilateral. Radial symmetry. When any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two equal halves, it is called radial symmetry, and animals are called radial. Example, Nidarian sea animals. These animals have oral and aboral ends. What oral and aboral ends? Go through the diagram of diagram. This is oral end and this is aboral end. Okay. Next, come here goes the symmetry. You can see the radial symmetry in a center passing through the axis. It divides an organism into two equal halves that are mirror images of each other. Now goes to the bilateral symmetry. What is bilateral symmetry? Bilateral symmetry in the remaining eumetazones, rest of them into two identical and right halves only in one plane. Okay, like what? Like if you see a fish. If you see a fish, okay, if you are cutting the fish radial symmetry only if cut from one axis, okay. This kind of symmetry, front and posterior end, anterior end and posterior end is ventral part, and upper part, that is dorsal part. What is dorsal? You see, this is a fish. Like our body, this is the ventral part, and the back part is called dorsal part. Okay, so many specimens of fishes or organisms. You can see the upper part of the fishes is fishes or bilateral symmetry animals are having. This is dorsal here. Now comes to symmetry. Let's understand symmetry by help of the symmetrical. No matter how you cut it, the two halves will not be the same. No matter pass through the center will divide the body into two similar halves, like starfish. Here is a diagram of starfish. And what is bilateral symmetry? The body can be divided into two similar halves only through to cut from here. Okay, then you will be able to divide the human being into two halves, one left and one right. Okay, this is just an example. Don't cut. Now, what is diploblastic and triploblastic organism? Animals are having like external layer and internal layer. So animals, those are having only two layers. Dye means is used when you will be studying embryonic development. You will see blastopore. Blastomeres are the complete embryo into an adult. Adult, that blastic comes from the blastopore. Dye means two. Okay? So, and organisms that are having only two layers, these are called diploblastic animals. And radiata animals, those animals who are having radial symmetry, they all are external ectoderm and internal endoderm with an intervening mesoglia. What is mesoglia? Mesoglia is a liquid kind of thing. It's like a fluid present between ectoderm and endoderm. It is not a layer. It is just ectoderm or endoderm is a living part. If you cut your skin, a new skin will develop, means it is a living part. Na? But if you cut the mesoglea, new mesoglea will not develop. That is, it is a non-living layer. So we will not consider it as only external ectoderm, internal endoderm, and intervening mesoglea. Means mesoglea is separating both the layers. Such animals are therefore called diploblastic. Examples: corals, hydra, sea animals. Anyway, have you seen corals? Oh, Lakshadweep, Andaman, Nicobar. I have not seen, but I have studied. Okay, so here's a diagram showing diploblastic and triploblastic. This is a diploblast. Okay, germ layer. These are called germ layers. You can see blue cell-like structure is separating them. This is mesoglea. This is diploblast. Okay, one more example to make it more clear. Okay, this is ectoderm, blue part is mesoglea, and this is endoderm. So this is diploblastic. Now come to triploblastic. What are triploblastic animals? In bilateria means those animals that those are having bilateral symmetry. They are having triploblastic germ layer, means they are having three germ layers. What are these three germ layers? The third germ layer is mesoderm, is present between the ectoderm and endoderm. Means the development is taking place in this manner that lower organisms are having mesoglea, in higher organisms that mesoglea develops into a new triploblastic. Triplo means tri means three, and blastic, I have told you blastic from where blast word is coming. In these animals, embryonic blastopore forms mouth in protostomia and anus in deuteriostomia. See, again, triploblastic animals are classified according to the protostomia and deuterostomia. What is protostomia and deuterostomia? Okay, bilateral subdivision. Protostomia. During development, during embryonic development, blastopore gives rise to mouth. If mouth is developed first, then these are animals are called protostomia. Cleavage is spiral. Spiral cleavage means cleavage is like this. And determinate. Determinate means they are each and every cell is determined that you have to make this. Okay. They are having cytosolic coelom we will be studying. Then I will explain you what is coelom. Animals whose blastopore gives rise to mouth first. Deuterostomia, blastopore gives rise to anus first. Cleavage is radial and indeterminate. Why indeterminate? Means their cells are not determined. When an embryo is developing into a human being, into a young baby, then all those cells are acting as stem cells. Stem cells are indifferentiated. They are not differentiated. That is why stem cells of your baby, and in later stages, if you want treatment of any part of your baby, you can use those stem cells. Means their fate is not decided. Okay, so what kingdom? Like in apes, like in reptiles. Okay, so this protostomia occurs in lower phylums from mollusks to protozoa. Okay, protostomia kind of development, and this deuteriostomia is in chordates, and in last phylum echinodermata. Okay, now what is segmentation? Segmentation in some bilateria, the body is of many segments. Our body is into segments. This is thorax part. This is dorsal part, and this is when talk in general word.
Yes, ma'am. Any issue?
This was the comparison of sin x and x. Y is equal to x and y sin x comparison. Well, here the
I think there is some technical issue, students. You can please wait for a second. Yes, thank you, students. Again, we will meet tomorrow morning, 5 to 7. So, students, please don't miss morning classes. Those are also very important, right? So, we will meet tomorrow morning from 5 to 7. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.